What is up, besties? It is your girl, the Karmic DF, back to you again with another video, and this time we are going to take a look at Liam's death and everything else that we can get from it. Now, I'm gonna have a little chat with my besties, and if you don't want to stick around for that, go check out the timestamps. But to my besties, especially if you're seeing this when I put it out, is this full moon eclipse like whooping your ass, or is it just me? Because like all my besties know what I've been going through the past month. And, you know, I've been at the end stage of grief. Like, the brain fog's starting to go away. But then that full moon eclipse came, and it was just like, oh, you're going to face everything you don't want to deal with. And not that I don't, you know, deal with the shit I got to deal with. But Spirit, should we use Haunted House? I feel like we should use Haunted House, but I don't know that it'll be as dark as y'all could assume. But anyway, back to my chit chat. Are y'all feeling like, yeah, 8:44 on the clock. Are y'all feeling like you are just wrapping up cycles that you just can't do anymore? Like, are you in this place? Like, you know what I'm hearing in my mind is you're not the boss of me now and you're not so big. And that's kind of the vibe that I've been having lately, where it's just like, if one thing death teaches us, it's that life is too short. And, you know, I've had a lot of death in my life, throughout my life. I've buried a lot of family. I've buried a lot of friends. And one thing I've learned to survive all of that is to find ways to honor them. And, you know, I was looking at like losing Ian and being like, okay, well, how can I honor his death? And I noticed a lot of the reason that I was drawn to him, and there's a reason we're drawn to the people that we're drawn to, is that he was a lot like me, you know? He was the type that was a giver, but didn't want to burden people with his own problems. And so, you know, I spent this last month kind of looking at myself and going, where do I let myself down? Where do I stifle my voice to make other people comfortable? Where do I play down who I am and make myself miserable in the name of love and connection? And so, I don't know, y'all, like, even if you're seeing this in the future, maybe you're on a timeline where you're starting to, because I'm being drawn to my Black Obsidian, maybe you're starting to think about, like, I don't know, does this work for me? Yeah, I'm hearing the song, is this just real life? Is this just fantasy? It's like, you know, the only person that is born with us and dies with us is us. I mean, look at this Liam Payne video we're about to do. His girlfriend left a couple of days before. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. If this isn't something that's dark and mysterious, I wouldn't be shocked from a soul perspective if she didn't realize it, but her soul was probably being removed so that he could pass alone. Because I do see that happen a lot of times. If there isn't any sort of like foul play, weird shit, we'll find out with the cards. But I just wanted to, you know, keep you guys updated. Just... y'all, this full moon eclipse has just been the worst. And full moons are always the worst. But, like, when I tell y'all that I have spent the past 3 days laying in my bed, trying to catch up on all of my astrology homework, and then trying to catch up on private readings, which today, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be able to do because my energy is garbage, bestie. That being said, it's not that I'm not going to get accurate messages. It's just more so that the brain fog will probably make it harder for me to think. So it might be a little more choppy, and I most definitely don't want to give that work to my clients. So if you are waiting on a private reading, I've already reached out to all of you at this point, but you'll hear from me, and I will probably resume personal readings Monday after this full moon stops destroying my energy body. Is there anything else? So yeah, if any of you, you know, because I don't want to read all of the comments anymore, just because it seems like the bigger this channel gets, the more negativity seems to like pop out of fucking nowhere. But, you know, if y'all need to like vent in the comments, if y'all are feeling the full moon, like, and you're reflecting and you're like, I don't want to, yeah, I keep hearing the song, You're Not the Boss of Me Now and You're Not So Big. So I wonder if a lot of you are like cutting people out of your life or realizing like, this just doesn't work for me. Like, I just don't want this. Like, I'm hearing ill in my mind. It's like, this isn't doing good for me. So, you know, if you're where I'm at, I feel you, bestie. Give yourself some grace, rest. You know, it's really hard for me to lay in bed. I've been taught to be a productivity horse, but when your body's like, girl, please, or boy or they, you know what I mean? Like, just fucking listen to that, because the more I listen to my body and not societal standards, the more I get ahead much quicker and I bounce back much better. So as someone who just went through a real big grief and a real big loss, my come up game is strong because I honor my emotions. So I guess that was my little chit chat. I don't know if maybe just people might need a reminder in this energy, especially, you know, if you're a big fan of Liam Payne in particular or One Direction, you might be grieving, you know, honor those feelings, because the only way out, it's through, bestie. It's through. It's not, you know, disconnecting from your emotions, because then you just kind of fragment yourself. And I guarantee that we're going to see some of that in this reading, considering it says that Liam Payne battled with drugs and drinking. So as someone who's done that myself, I get it. So, all right, let's get into it. So y'all want to know what the fuck? Like, personally, what the fuck? Why did he die off a balcony? It does seem suspect, but I'm going to hold and reserve judgment. I know you guys want to know about the ex, Maya, and her allegations. Maybe the girlfriend will come up. First of all, I had no idea he was dating the girl from Arrow. When I saw the photo, I was like, oh shit, I know her. But the problem I'm gonna have with this reading, to be honest with you, is most of the boys in One Direction are fucking earth signs, and the ex and the current girlfriend are both Sagittarius. So I have some ideas of how I'm gonna do this, but all legend and for entertainment purposes only. I want to start with Dark Mirror Oracle to get some darker energies from him. So thank you to everybody that sits through 30 seconds of ads. It's a free and easy way to support my page. And if you're new here, smash that subscribe button, bestie. We have been covering the things they don't want us to cover and the things they do. We cover everything here. So check us out. Check the playlist. We got hundreds of psychic predictions that I've done already. And let me know what you guys want to see in future videos in the comments down below. We do have a recent poll that I posted, so if y'all want to vote on that for next week's video, that works as well. Because as much as I love doing these P. Diddy readings, they take a toll on my body. So, all right. Spirit guides, ancient ancestors, angels, please come through. Liam's final hours, his death, what do we need to know? All alleged and for entertainment purposes only, zero facts here. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, thekarmicdf.com. I am currently on pause, but you can email me with the title waitlist. But if you're seeing this in the future, check out my website first. All right. Dreading this. Regardless of how this happens, his life was cut way too short. That is sad. So rest in peace to Liam. I hope that he finds what he's looking for on the other side. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Y'all, I don't. Yeah. Guys, one thing I'm going to say right away. I almost guarantee that this was not some form of, like, Hollywood bullshit. This doesn't feel nefarious to me, if I'm being honest with you. With Colorless Angel being the first card to come out and 10 on that card, we just did a reading where, oh God, what reading was that? Whatever, semantics. Colorless Angel means I'm losing myself. And notice how there's this black horse right here. So it's giving me like, I'm numbing out. I'm a shell of myself. When I look at this card, it's like, I'm a shell of myself. So if we're asking about the night, I think that he was emotionally charged, especially because his girlfriend left. Because I almost wonder if they had a fight and she was like, fuck this, I'm out. Because I know they were saying how when she went, apparently her body was getting a breakout or something like that. Her anxiety was getting bad. I believe that. I think that her body was rejecting him, if I'm being honest, because I feel this as his soul was ready to go. I'm going to be honest. That being said, I think it has a lot to do with drugs and drinking, obviously. I think that night he felt very... I don't want to say woe is me because like he died, right? But it's just giving me very, no one has my back. Everybody's out to get me. I want to numb. Get it? Numb. Sorry, I am always comedic relief. Sorry, it is what it is. And then especially with 2 and 4, always reminds me of the 6 of Swords. And if it's reversed, it reminds me of bad internet. And when you got a queen on it, I definitely think he was also concerned with his ex coming out with those allegations. So it's like, I think he was having a bit of a pity party that night, if I'm being honest with you. This is going to destroy me. The ex, what's her name? Maya's going to destroy me. It's going to destroy my reputation. I'm going to be all alone. The bad internet's going to destroy me. He was trying to numb. I kind of feel like he had a fight with his girlfriend before she left. Now, I don't think that it was anything to the point where like we'd have to look at her sideways. I think she's not bringing that up because it's like guilt, and also because we don't trust Holly weird. So if she said like we got into a fight and I left because he was being a dick, like she probably has survivor's guilt and all that shit, right? Because like trust me, I get this energy a little bit too well. Maybe I shouldn't have done this reading, to be honest, but I think I can handle it. And yeah, both the sixes is like a transition. So I think that he was not okay with where his life was headed. I think that he was succumbing to the pressures of his drinking and drugging. I think he was definitely concerned with the past coming to bite him. Look at this, the queen of my world. People need to know who you are. I'm fed up. So it kind of feels like a ticking time bomb. I do feel, I feel like the allegation, I don't know what the allegations were specifically because I don't want to dive into that too deep and then be biased. I'm going to move the camera because it's driving me bonkers. So give me a sec. I'm so sorry. There we go. Okay. But I do feel like, because look at how it feels like she's chasing him, and it's like, dude, I'm already a shell. And I'm not making excuses. Like, if you got a story of someone who did you dirty, fucking talk about it. But I do see him just kind of slowly, it's reminding me, God, I might have done this reading too soon. So I got a personal reading on my own of my passed on loved one, and it read a lot like this. Like, the drugs and the alcohol, I'm numbing until I'm a shell of myself. That's kind of how this card feels for me. I feel like his body couldn't handle whatever he was putting himself through. I think he was in a place of like victimhood where it's like, no one has my back, no one cares about me. I really feel like him and his girlfriend got into a fight, and that's why she left. But I do think that she was rejecting the trip because our body rejects things that it shouldn't be around. So whatever because I think she said something about like she had like anxiety and like bumps were coming up on her skin or something. I feel like her body was rejecting this because one, he's got really dark energy. And that's usually what happens when we really lean into drugs and drinking, because I don't want to scare anybody, because everything in moderation. And if you're all that worried about it, just set an intention that, I set the intention to create a shield of unconditional love and light around me that'll block off and reflect all low vibrational energy, and then continue to drink and do whatever you want. Just don't let it, because it feels like this took over him until the point where he wasn't himself anymore. Because didn't they say that he like showed up at he crashed somebody's concert or something? This guy was looking for anything to make him feel alive. He felt dead inside towards the end of his life. The quick highs and everything was a way for him to try and feel like he was alive again. And I think that I know there's like a point of contention where it's like he uses his One Direction fame, but I see it more as like I'm losing myself, I'm fading away, and I'm clinging to that as a means of trying to find light in my life. This is honestly really sad, if I'm being honest with you. I think he's the type of person where it's like any attention is better than none at all. I feel like he's one of those many celebrities. It's kind of giving me one-hit wonder vibes. Obviously, One Direction was not one-hit wonder, but didn't he go on to try and be his own singer or whatever? And like, it just feels like he was a one-hit wonder. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And then I got my ex coming after me. It's like he knew, whether this is like intuitively, but also logically, he knew that his time was almost up. That's kind of the vibe of this, but I feel called to pull a couple more. Yeah, self-obsessed. So I think he might have had some narcissistic tendencies because he didn't want to accept what had happened and accept the things that he has done to other women. Yeah, I think he has narcissistic tendencies, if I'm being honest with you, but it's coming from a place of a lot of pain, because artificial heart's in the reverse. So I think he tried to come off as cold and callous, because it's giving me, you know what it's reminding me of? The energy of Jamie Spears, the sister, where it's like some people, when they're abused, they can turn mean, instead of people like me who become extra understanding and soft and sensitive. I think he was the type where he got cold because of like the industry, the environment, the fact that like you know, you're kind of a workhorse when you enter into this. And I think that he's one of many. I mean, he's a Virgo. So Virgo on the negative sign, because I have Virgo placements, you could be highly self-critical. And if you're that self-critical, you're going to want to numb. So I do think that he was trying to numb to deal with the fact that, like, I'm not saying that he didn't want to hurt women. I just think that it's coming from a place of pain because of the industry. So it just kind of feels like a sad story. Yeah, I'm hearing the song from Fifi Dobson. That's old as fuck, where it's like sad story, but different rules, which is kind of giving me the vibe of like, yeah, I'm seeing the Six of Cups reverse in my mind's eye, which is like the past will always repeat itself if we don't learn that we can't be leaning on people and vices in order to survive. And that's kind of his downfall. And with Bride in the Cage in the reverse, it kind of gives me this vibe of like he felt trapped in his life, and so he kind of wanted to trap women as well to kind of, I think he's the type where like misery loves company is kind of the energy here. So it's like if I'm in pain, you're going to feel it too. Like that's kind of the vibe. What's the back deck for this? Calling in the Storm. Yeah, I think he was, this feels accidental to me, guys. I'm going to be honest. I need to pull the cards before I can say for certain, but with Calling in the Storm being the last card, and they have that 911 call where it's like someone's on drugs and alcohol and they're breaking shit. Calling in the Storm is like, I am throwing a shit storm fan. Like I'm popping off. I'm pissed. I feel like I think he does everything in his power to escape being alone in the world. I think he does everything to escape his mind. Virgo energy. I'm not shocked. And him being alone, I think that might have been like the catalyst, like his girlfriend not being alone, because I feel like he's the type of person that's like, I cannot be alone with my thoughts. And so I got to drink, I got to numb. And I think that led to him getting a little crazy and chaotic with Calling in the Storm being the last card. And then, yeah, drinking and drugging with this in the reverse. This is like, yeah, and 4, which reminds me of home and family and 4th house. So it's like I'm being triggered by the women I've hurt and the women that aren't. I think he has a very codependent nature, even though he hurts the people he loves. Yeah, I think this was a boiling up. I think this had a lot to do with the X coming out as well with the book. This was a boiling up that was just a ticking time bomb. Honestly, this feels like a ticking time bomb, but we're going to get into the tarot before I make any final conclusions. As of right now, this does not read nefarious to me, but I'll check with the cards. All right, besties. So we're going to take a look at the cards. Off camera, I always shuffle a little bit. The way I said what happened during that death, and then I had this horrible chest pain. So, I don't know, man. Do we know what kind of drugs he did? Because I just feel like my chest hurts. I'm erratic. My energy's all over the place. But all alleged. Thank you to everybody that sits through 30 seconds of ads. And if you're new here, hit subscribe, bestie. You don't want to miss out. Ignoring my intuition. Okay. Lovers, I'm telling you, stability. And I'm hearing the song, What's This Life For? So again, I think he was in a depressive state at this time. Other people, regrets. Like I said, that 8 of Cups, walking away. I think he was having a life crisis, an identity crisis, a relationship crisis. I think it was all hitting him at once. It almost feels like he's the type of person where he does everything in his power to run away from things. Like, isn't there allegations that, like, he's a cheater or something? Like, he texts people and does inappropriate shit. This is the type of energy where it's like, I do everything to escape myself. Women, drugs, drinking, whatever. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to bring other people around because I will be damned if I have to sit in my own energy and kind of face the shit that I've done. Because it kind of reads to me like someone who was probably a little bit sensitive when he got into the industry. And the industry, it kind of gives me a little bit of Justin Bieber energy where it's like, I feel like a jellyfish. I feel like I'm drowning. I'm just trying to be important. How did it get here? How did it get this crazy? Like, I just feel like it's giving one-hit wonder vibes, at least from his energy. He felt like a one-hit wonder. That's kind of the vibe here. It's like, I don't matter anymore. This is like the definition of a pity party, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think that he expects women to save him, but then at the same time, you know that no one can save you but you. So then he ends up resenting his partners and he ends up resenting the people around him because it's very much energy vampire. It's very much fix me, heal me, make me feel better. I don't know how to do it on my own. And remember, what was he on X Factor at like 14? So he never had a normal adult life. So if you at 14 are worshipped and you don't have to learn anything, think Nepo babies, right? When the world crashes and burns, you're not going to really know what to do because you've always been like spoon fed, is what I'm hearing. So I think that he was starting to kind of unravel the regrets from the past coming back up to haunt him, especially with this always reminding me of like, you know, a pee-pee. And then with Eight of Cups, it's like, the things that I didn't want to come out are coming out and I wanted to move on from that. And then the things that I didn't want to end are ending and I can't get any. I just think that at the final moments of his life, he was spiraling mentally. And with Virgo energy, especially considering that Virgo rules Mercury, which is like thoughts and communication. So it's like, I think his brain was going crazy and he was trying like hell to numb, but he had all this repressed sadness that he kind of, it almost feels like he channels his sadness through anger. You ever meet people like that? It's usually narcissistic people where it's like, I don't want to deal with my sadness, so I become angry instead. I do agree with that 911 call. I feel like he probably was being volatile and reckless and angry. But I'm going to try to tap into the jump off the balcony or whatever, because how? Like that's what is holding me up. And you know what's weird? Y'all know I love the show Jane the Virgin. Just saying that the series is on my Amazon wish list. Just saying. No pressure, though. And the Deviant Moon Tarot, if we want a different kind of dark tarot. Just saying. But no, I'm just kidding. But, you know, Christmas is coming. Anyway, just kidding. Mostly. But I know y'all love to be nice to me, and I appreciate that. So, just letting y'all know. Anyway, it's reminding me of the scene from Jane the Virgin where, and this is why I'm confused. On Jane the Virgin, someone dies because they fall off a balcony. And they assume that it was an accident, but they miss that there was someone in the room that they did not see. Because it wasn't on the cameras or anything. Later on, they end up finding like a photo that proves it, or something, like they had a witness or whatever. So that's kind of weird that that's coming up for me. But I don't know. Hold on. All right, Spirit, what happened with his death? Like, how, was it an accident? Was there someone involved? If I'm asking if it's an accident and the Hermit card comes out, that reads like he's alone. Could he have been paranoid? Because I'm hearing the song, I always feel like somebody's watching me. What kind of drugs was he into? Because the Hermit card's all about being alone, but look at how someone's staring at him. It still doesn't really feel to me like there was anyone else in the room, but like how the fuck? Was there something wrong with the balcony? Like, did the balcony break or something? Because in the scene in Jane the Virgin, her shoe breaks. And the balcony doesn't break, though. How did he fall off the balcony? I'm going to be honest. There's two ways that I can read this. I'm going to be honest. The first way that I'm going to read it feels like that's the most likely. But I can't say that it's impossible that it isn't something else. This reads to me like someone who was heartbroken about all of the relationships falling apart. I'm losing myself. I don't know who I have anymore. My friends weren't my friends. One Direction isn't together anymore. Where am I headed from here? I got to deal with the issues coming from my ex, especially with that Hierophant card in reverse with the Two of Cups in reverse. I almost wonder, this is where I'm getting caught up because the current girlfriend, what's her name? Kate Cassidy. Did she like threaten to dump him and leave or something? Because I almost, you know what this is giving me? Because I can't help it. I keep being drawn to my ex that cheated on me with five of my friends. Very like, woe is me, very and able to take accountability, like, well, I wouldn't have cheated if I wasn't so addicted to drugs and my mom didn't love my blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just very woe is me. So I almost feel like he might have had a fight with his current girlfriend, and that's part of why she left. It's almost giving me like, I don't feel good being here, and then I don't like what you're doing, and I don't like how you're acting, and I feel like he was the type, because I'm being drawn so strong to Justin Bieber, and what do we know him for, right? Like, he can't get over Selena. He doesn't really like Haley. He kind of is a verbal punching bag to Haley, even though we should still continue to send healing to Justin. But it's kind of giving me that same want vibe. Like, I'm seeing Charlie Brown with the want. Now, I'm not downplaying that this is very sad, but it's just kind of giving me this vibe of, like, I think he was drowning in his own woe is me's, if that makes sense. But I do feel like he had a fight with his girlfriend before she left. It's kind of giving me like, you're not listening to me. I don't want to be here. I'm feeling weird. I feel off. You're acting erratic. I don't want to see this. This shit's bullshit. Like, I feel like he had... So he's worrying about a book that's going to come out that's going to expose him for whatever the hell he did. And then I don't think she'll ever admit to this because I feel survivor's guilt in her energy, so I don't think it's anything nefarious, but I feel like he had a fight with his girlfriend prior to his death. And the accumulation of feeling like I fell off and I don't matter anymore. I mean, when a Virgo feels like they don't matter, oh my God. Like, I got Virgo placements. Virgos, you could say it in the comments. When you feel like you don't matter, especially after all the energy you put in, you could go a little, because what I'm seeing in my mind is like Harley Quinn, Joker, that energy, where it's like he likes that pick at each other, that I'm going to put you down a few pegs and then you can poke back at me. Like, I think he thrives in chaos. And I feel like his life was starting to slow down. And when life slows down, we kind of have to look at the world around us. I mean, he was 31, right? So he probably just finished his Saturn return. So he's probably taking a look at his life. And it's just very woe is me energy. I wonder if he was paranoid. Was he on any drugs that made him paranoid? Because I'm in his energy and they're not letting me tap into it too much because I'm way too drained to be able to. So they're kind of like channeling it through me. But it almost feels like the world's out to get me. I feel like, I'm surprised Downcast Pride didn't come out as a card, because it's just like shame shitstorm. Like, that's what I'm hearing, the Brene Brown Netflix special. I'm in a shame shitstorm. Like, that's kind of the vibe. And now I'm hearing the song, don't leave me, girl. Please stay with me tonight. Yeah, he was afraid about, I think he might have even, I don't know the whole conversation about this Maya Henry chick that was going to write a book, because I don't follow none of this. But, like, did he even try to reach out to her? Like, please don't do this with this Ace of Cups here. Like, you'll destroy my life. Because it's kind of giving me that vibe. Like, if you put this out into the public, like, everybody's going to come for me. And I could see Maya being like, you weren't worried about me when you were hurting me. Like, that's kind of the vibe. So I think this is a tale as old as time. This feels like washed up, one-hit wonder, leaned on drugs, took it out on other people, couldn't take it anymore. But how the fuck did you jump off a balcony? That's the part I'm having a hard time with, because nothing really, even with this Seven of Swords, like my tarot reader, Seven of Swords is always suspect, but this feels more like, please don't out me to the public for what I've done. Let me give you an emotional offer. I can change. I can grow. Maybe I can give you money with the Knight of Pentacles here, because this is going to ruin me with the Nine of Wands. Because after 9 is 10s. It's a burden. So I feel like he did talk to Maya to ask her not to do this or something. I don't know if she's come out and said that. I don't know. I haven't been following none of this. But I think he kind of saw it as his world. You know, like when you drink and you drug and you just don't think clearly? Like, there's a lot of things that I've done drinking and drugging that I absolutely would not have done sober. So this kind of feels like an erratic energy. Honestly, this lines up with the call, but I'm going to try to see if I can... Is there anything... Okay, Spirit. How did he end up falling off a balcony? Can we get that? Ace of Pentacles. Inner conflict. What am I going to do? Relationships again. Let go. This feels like a moment of passion. This feels like Not thinking clear. Okay. I don't want to bring that up because I feel like that. Okay. Trigger warning, 21 and older. This involves self-harm. Now, I got to share this because it's the only example that I have. This reminds me of my own personal story. I'm sorry if this triggers y'all, but back when I was drinking and, occasionally doing other stuff, and I was super fucking depressed and I wasn't thinking clearly. And so a lot of times I would do like, kind of like versions of Russian roulette, like if this hurts me, let it. If this takes me, let it. Like that's kind of the energy that I'm in. Like the Hangman in reverse gives me martyr energy. The Ace of Pentacles is like an opportunity. So if I'm asking why this happened, and Five of Pentacles or Five of Wands is like, this isn't other people. Seven of Pentacles, all the energy I've invested, relationships, I want to let go. I feel like he had a moment where he wasn't thinking and he was emotional. I mean, it's reminding me of how like statistics show that like if women try to, take their lives, they'll do more things like pills or just something that's less aggressive, whereas men will be the type to like use a gun or they'll do something. They don't care about the theatrics, you know what I mean? So I kind of feel like he felt trapped and it felt like it was his only option. I don't even know that he thought that he would die, if I'm being honest, with the Hangman in reverse. I almost wonder if this was like a cry for help. Because I'm thinking about it and I'm like, third balcony. I almost wonder if he didn't think he would die. I almost wonder if this was a cry for help. Because again, I'm drawn back to what I was talking about, my own story, where it was like, the things that I did to myself was to an extent a cry for help. I mean, whether or not I understood that. So it kind of feels like this could have been his like, if I get hurt, maybe people then will love me, pay attention to me. Because you know what it's reminding me of? If you've ever seen Bruce Almighty, he loses the girl. It's the one he wants the most. And at the very end, he gets into a car accident, but he lives. And the girl that he wanted comes back to him. Do you see what I'm saying? So I almost wonder if he thought that he would survive this and that people would feel sorry for him and it would bring him back into the spotlight as someone to be loved. Because I think we have a core abandonment wound that has been triggered. And I almost wonder if this was just kind of I wasn't thinking clearly. This just reminds me so much of martyrdom. So this is a chance for people to feel sorry for me. I feel like this is the definition of any attention is better than none at all, but I don't think he thought that this would take his life. Because think about it, right? Third floor. Like if he was on the 26th floor, then I'd be like, okay, this is suspect. But this almost feels to me like maybe he was desperate enough to break a couple ribs because I'm being drawn to the skeleton. So it's like, okay, like maybe if I break a couple legs, I'll be in the hospital for a bit. People will want to visit me and then they'll love me again. Because it's reminding me of again, going back to Bruce Almighty, where he's like, love me, see me, pick me. Like that's the vibe. I almost feel like he was just kind of, when you're in a drunken and alcohol and addiction stupor, you're not thinking clearly. So I'm in his energy and I'm like, first of all, I hear the song, What's This Life For? I feel like I've already said that. But then on top of it, it's like, any attention's better than none at all. So this doesn't feel conspiracy to me. I'm not going to lie. Six of Swords is internet. And then also on this card, this is a guy being mean to a woman. So it's like, if I can change the rhetoric of my image on the internet, I don't think he meant to kill himself, if I'm being honest. This doesn't feel like, I mean, the death card hasn't even come out. Like, dose of realism. Yeah, I think he was really, really afraid of that book coming out. Ten of Swords. One thing I'm going to say, because I'm being zoomed out for a second, I feel, this might have been a little too early for me to cover this. I'm going to be honest. But, hold on, I got to pause. Okay. Sometimes the soul will know that it's time to go before the body does. And so the soul will start to like disconnect from the body a little bit. And so like, especially with people with addiction problems, the soul will kind of like slowly fragment itself outside the body. And I feel like he was already kind of starting to pass. I think he was leaning really hard into drinking and drugs. Fuck, this was not a good idea of a reading for me. Hold on. Sorry, guys. This is just hitting a little too close to home for me. Spirit help. I think that he was already too far gone. Speaking of like drugs and drinking. And so this could be a mixture of like my own grief, but also what was going on for him too, because I tend to channel emotions because it's like it's over. Like with that Ten of Swords, it's like it's over. And with the rainbow, I kind of feel like if this brings anybody peace, I don't think he suffered because I feel like I hate this reading. I feel like his soul was already starting to cross and process. Like I think that this was his time, if I'm being honest with you. I don't feel any nefarious energy here. I think the industry kind of chewed him up and spit him out. And it's a kind of another Justin Bieber energy where it was like, I just have to numb because I can't take it. And then I lash out because I can't take it. And I think that, you know, as a 14-year-old finding celebrity stardom and then the next minute you're not important anymore, but that's all you know, that's your identity. You're going to be a little lost, you know? And so I feel like he lost himself. And he didn't know how to find himself because it was just like he had all this anger. I think that's how he channeled it, is he didn't know how to grieve. He knew how to be angry and he knew how to take it out on other people. But the moment I say that, I keep hearing the song Don't Leave Me, Girl. So it's like, it's reminding me of this therapist that said we are meanest to the people we feel safest with. It's kind of giving me that vibe. Yeah, as I drop his, who is that? His girlfriend or his ex? This is a girl. I think it might be the girlfriend. I almost wonder if the girlfriend gave him an ultimatum or something, like grow up. Yeah, because you know I'm being drawn to Greece, where it's like you better shape up because I need a man. So that on top of this book coming out, being exposed for how I'm not a equal give and take partner. And I almost wonder if the girlfriend also had an issue with the book because like it's reminding me of when I did the Jessica Biel reading about Britney Spears' book. It's kind of giving me this vibe of like, if you did that to her, what would you be able to do to me? Or I'm seeing patterns, or, oh, I've been through that too. Like, I almost wonder if the girlfriend, what's her name? Kate, was either considering dumping him or at the very least, like, we need to have a conversation because I don't think they ended on good terms. Now, that being said, I don't think she's bad, especially the fact that she's upright. I think she was just fed up with his, what I'm hearing is like theatrics. This is just really fucking sad, to be honest with you. Yeah, because I'm hearing the song "I See Your True Colors Shining Through," and I feel like Kate wanted to like, fuck, this energy's so heavy. I'm not gonna do any personal readings today, guys. I'm so sorry. I didn't expect this to be like, first of all, so close to home, but then also so sad. But I feel like Kate was like, I could fix him. Like I can, because look, she's a Sag, right? So it reminds me of Hailey Bieber energy. Like, let me get you out of your funk. Let's have fun. Like, let's not focus on the darkness so much. But I feel like she felt like she couldn't get through to him and she got fed up. So it was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I'm going home. Like, my body's stressed out. Her body was rejecting him. Like, y'all need to listen to that. When your body rejects somebody, it is telling you something. And so she listened to that. And I also feel that from a higher perspective, the reason she listened to that was because the higher selves knew that his time was up. The road he was headed, it doesn't give me any form of evil, especially with the moon card reverse. I feel like this is just a very fucking tragic story. I'm sorry. Like, this is just a little too close to home. I didn't realize. Honestly, a part of me thought there was going to be some sort of fuckery, but no. Do we know anything about his mom? Because this reads like an abandonment wound that stems all the way from like parents, specifically the mother or just whoever probably raised him. Because this is like what we're not seeing is like, again, those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it. So like, was his mother an opportunist? Was she like, because I'm seeing like Princess and Tiara. So did she push him into the spotlight? Was she hoping to get some notoriety for him? Like, do we know anything about his mom? Because I don't know anything about anyone in One Direction. I just know their song, Best Song Ever, because that song's a banger. And I got to hear it be done at a camp for a women's retreat where it was covered by men that spoke came from different countries and sang in different languages. It was really hot. But anyway, sorry, this energy is just awful. Ego. This is also, that's interesting. Before I say that, Spirit Team, this is who I think it is, right? I think he saw how the industry is getting torn down, because this is reminding me of Diddy, but it doesn't feel like there's any correlation. I'm being honest, it doesn't. This feels more like Diddy's getting exposed. Everybody along with Diddy's getting exposed. I'm watching everybody getting canceled, and now my book's coming out, and I'm going to look like these people. I'd rather be dead. Like, that's kind of the vibe. Whatever. Anyway, I want to look at the cast real quick, so let's wrap this part up. Oh, here's the death card. Hold on. Apathetic. Eight is fast. It's fast. It's aggression. Apathetic. I'm drinking. I'm drugging. I'm not happy. I'm alone. 8 of Wands, fast. Death, fast. So I think this started from an argument with his girlfriend. I think that was the straw for him, but he was already like a boiling pot. A boiling pot only needs like, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back. That's kind of the vibe here. I almost wonder if she gave him an ultimatum with that devil card in reverse. I don't want to see you like this. I don't want to fall down this same route. Look at the book, right? The ex was writing a book. So again, it's like the ex has seen how you've been. You're not changing. Maybe she felt like she could change him, the current girlfriend, Kate. But I think she realized that she couldn't. It's like, this is going to be a project for me, and I love you, so I'm going to try, or I like you. I don't know how long they've been together. But I think she realized, at least during the vacation, whatever the hell they were doing, that she needed to go because it was getting bad, because he just leans on shit too much. So I want to take a look real quick to finish this at how the One Direction cast feels, because apparently, what is it? They think Zayn is one of the people that he says hit him or something. So I want to see, honestly, like, even regardless of what they feel, like, if they had a falling out, they're allowed to not really, you know, let's honor people's emotions during grief, because it's not black and white. There are stages to grief. Trust me, I would know. Denial, anger, sadness, bargaining, definitely bargaining. So to end this, let's just look at the One Direction and how they're feeling. All right, so we're going to finish this up with how are the One Direction members feeling. I'm going to be honest, I shuffled off camera and the King of Wands reverse popped out, so that's interesting. But we'll check. Thank you to everybody that says through what is with these Wands energies coming out? Thank you to everybody that says through 30 seconds of ads. It's a free and easy way to support my page. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. All legend and for entertainment purposes only. I said I wanted a card per person and you threw one. I'm going to leave that as a... I'm going to leave that for a second because I don't know where that plays in. So give me a minute. Hold on. I want a card for Harry Styles, please, Spirit Team. Okay. I think Harry's been moved on from him, if I'm being honest. And with the Queen of Wands that did pop out, so I'm going to have to acknowledge that. Maybe that's like a overarching energy. I feel like Harry might have known how, what's his name, Liam behaves. I think he moved on from that situation a long time ago. But I don't feel like hatred or anything. It just feels more like I've wanted to move on from this because I kind of know how you behave and I don't really want to be surrounded by that is kind of the vibe. I almost feel like I need a clarification card, so hold on. Yeah, it's like, I almost wonder if they had a falling out where it's like, because I'm hearing the song, I see your true colors shining through. But it stops there, not where it says, that's why I love you. So I almost wonder if it's like, I knew what you were doing behind closed doors and I didn't want to be involved in it. Like, that's kind of the vibe from Harry. Does he feel bad, Spirit? I feel like they all do, but it's almost giving, from Harry's perspective, it's almost like, saw this coming. Like, that's kind of the vibe. Like, you know, when someone's headed down a bad path, you're like anyone that saw me in my 20s are probably like, this bitch is actually ahead of life now. Like, it's kind of giving me that same energy. It's like, you're headed down a bad path. It was only a matter of time. Like, that's kind of the vibe from Harry's energy. Very matter of fact. Is he the Aquarius? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because it just feels very detached, very matter of fact. Like, I don't think he's heartless. It just feels like he shut the door on this a long time ago, mentally speaking. Aquarius placements have a really good balance of being able to kind of like put things into the side into a box. So it's like, I'll have love for this person, but you're not good for me, so I'm going to detach. That's kind of the energy that I'm feeling, where it's like, I knew this shit about you would come out. It sucks that this happened, but I haven't been emotionally invested in you in a while. So it's kind of given me like, uh you know when you graduated high school like 10 years ago and then you find out that a kid from high school passed away and you're like, yeah, that's sad, but like I'm also not emotionally invested. Like I don't want you to be dead, but like I also don't have any investments emotionally. Like that's kind of how Harry's energy feels. It's like I moved on from you a while ago. Yeah, and I'm hearing Taylor Swift, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So I feel like Harry kind of always had some form of, it's almost giving me like when two magnets repel each other. I feel like I don't know their story, so I'm kind of just getting the energy here, but it feels like he's detached from him a while ago. This feels like, again, I keep hearing Taylor, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So I feel like for Harry, it's like, yeah, this is sad, but also like I moved on from you a long time ago. It's giving like when someone from high school passes away and you find out and you're sad, but like detached. That's the only way I would know how to describe his energy. I feel like this would take up too much space. Here, I'll do it like this. I can't pick up the cards. There we go. All right, Spirit Team, who's the next person? Zane. Oh, this should be interesting. If this is a good card, I'd be shocked. Spirit Team, how does Zane feel about this? Ooh. That's rough. Okay, there's a couple things going on. One, I just heard, well, isn't this the consequences of your own actions? So I did hear that. But then another thing is like there's a bitterness towards the separation that they had. Also, again, with the lovers, this is with that card being thrown out, I feel like they all knew his how he treats women. And I feel like they didn't like that. That's not to say that they don't treat women bad. I don't know their stories, but you know, a lot of times we could point out shit that we ourselves have done or are doing. So I don't know. But the energy's kind of like no love lost, if I'm being honest. I feel like it's more of like a respect thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and drag your name through the media, but yeah, I'm hearing the song, I don't fuck with you, you little stupid ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. So while I don't feel like I'm glad you're dead, I also don't feel like I'm sad you're dead. Yeah, because I'm hearing the song, Baby, I'm Sorry, I'm Not Sorry. I feel like this was probably the guy that hit him. If y'all know whatever that story was. Apparently he was on a podcast saying someone put their hands on him. I would agree that that is probably Zane. I want a clarification card for his energy towards him, though. Yeah, ego and pride. Yeah, your success came at what cost? You're hurting women. Honestly, for Zane, it's like, meh. Like, that's kind of the energy on Zane. I do feel like he was probably the one that put his hands on him because I'm being drawn to the reading I did about the infamous elevator scene with, oh my God, what's her face? Jay-Z and the sister. If you look up my Jay-Z readings, it'll pop up. It's on the thumbnail, the picture of the elevator. But it's reminding me of that. It's like I almost wonder if Zayn had to see some of the shit that he really just didn't like. And I also think that he felt that Liam had a big ego. So again, I feel like Zayn's energy is no love lost. I can still respect that you're a human being and no one deserves to die, but I also didn't like you. Like, that's kind of the vibe. And with this card flying out in the beginning, I think a lot of people had an issue with how he treated women and also a victimhood. Because when I think of the Queen of Wands in reverse, I think of passive aggressive because feminine energy, right? You ever meet a girl that's like, oh, whatever then? Like, it's kind of giving me that. So I feel like a lot of them felt like he was very like childish, for lack of a better word. So, I mean, so far, these two don't feel very sad. It feels kind of apathetic, like this sucks, but I'm not like super emotionally invested, if that makes sense. I need to move this Queen of Wands because it's just in my way. Who's next? Louis Tomlinson. I don't even know who the fuck that is. All right. Eight of Pentacles. Okay. How does he feel? Eight of Pentacles. Did they have issues working together too? Because I'm seeing a common theme here where a lot of people didn't like the way he behaved. I think he might be a little bit sad Because this doesn't read too... Honestly, these guys feel very apathetic. Is everyone okay? Like, I mean, I am reading during a full moon eclipse, so maybe... It almost feels like they're all going through their own shit. This is just kind of like another thing. I'm kind of shocked because it doesn't really feel like they're all that emotionally... It feels very detached. It feels, again, it's bringing me right back to like when you find out someone from high school passed away, but you haven't talked to them in years, so you're not emotionally invested. That's the vibe. Who is this? Louis? Eight of Pentacles and then petty. Did they have petty fights too? Like, did Liam pick at Louis at all? Do we know? Because this kind of gives me like almost like a sibling rivalry. And it's almost like, again, I'm hearing, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So I feel like a lot of people had issues with him towards the end. I'm sure when they were younger, maybe not. But it seems like towards the end, I think a lot of them were getting sick of his behavior. Yeah, because I'm hearing the song, no more shopping sprees, no more late night greed, no more VIP. No, I think this guy in particular, what's his name, Louis? I feel like he's also just a little bit more concerned about his own money and his own work. Why the Five of Swords, Spirit? I almost wonder if this is one of the people that would have been willing to work with him again. Because I just heard any press is better than none at all. So if anything, I feel like this guy would be, out of all three, he feels like the one that would be the most sad. But even still, the sad spectrometer is not very high up there, I'm going to be honest. Maybe because it's still new. I mean, I've just been through this, and the first 2 weeks of me going through it was a lot of denial and trying to think I'm okay when I'm not. So if we're tapping into something new, maybe they'll eventually tap into their energy. But I can't stop being drawn to how Harry, with the Chariot card, the dude's smiling. So I don't feel like these people really cared for... Do they even care about each other? Because it kind of feels like, I mean, they were kind of forced into a boy band, right? Because X Factor, they all came as soloists. So I would define this energy as no love lost. That's kind of the vibe. I feel like I'm running around in circles because they all feel the same. Yeah, I just heard it's all the same. Only the names will change every day. All right, what's his name? Neil? Whoever the fuck. Niall? I'm probably getting that wrong. Whatever. You know what? Can I just point out something? I'm asking how these people are feeling about his death. There are no cup cards. Cups are about emotions. When I'm asking how they're feeling and there are no cup cards here, why isn't the Five of Cups coming out? That's grief. That's sadness. Eight of Cups. The Death card. It just seems like... I feel like the industry fucked up all of these boys. Allegedly, no facts here. Because with Knight of Pentacles in the reverse... Did he have a falling out with everyone in the band? Like, because this is like, I wasn't invested when you died. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, I've already pulled my energy away from you. I need a clarification, Spirit. How does he feel about the death? Page of Wands, this was only a matter of time. Because when you think Page of Wands, you think of like, you're doing things because you're moving from a place of like immaturity with Page. But then with that fire energy, that reminds me of like drugs and drinking and aggression. So it's like, I think all of these people kind of saw this demise coming, which is really sad. I don't feel like anybody feels sad. This is so wild. What? All right. I want to do one more thing and then we're done. One more thing and then we're done. I know. I shouldn't have been doing it this long. I should have stopped a while ago. My energy's garbage. What was the back deck? The back deck is the Emperor. That's interesting. Why? This is kind of giving me like, I feel like the band themselves felt like he needed to grow up. So just a real quick, I swear. Every time I'm like, I don't want to do an hour-long reading. And then what do? An hour-long reading. Like I can't help it because once the channel starts, it's really hard to turn it off. Spirit team, how does One Direction feel about him in particular? All right, let's wrap this up because this is so fucking weird. How does the band feel about his death? Period. I just keep hearing, isn't that the consequences of your own actions? You know what I just heard when I dropped those two cards? Womanizer, you're a womanizer, baby. You are. cut off. Regrets. There's the grief card. Okay, so I think they might be in the denial stage, if I'm being honest, because Nine of Swords is reversed, so we're avoiding our thoughts. Ace of Swords, regrets. Five of Cups is like a stifling of emotions. So I think, here's the thing. I think that because of what was coming out with the ex and how he was behaving, they had this pre-notion of like, you're not a nice guy. You treat women like shit. You're way too into drugs and drinking, and we don't want to be associated with that. But it's like, it's reminding me a lot of me, right? Like I had to cut off someone recently because they're headed down a real dark path. They're just drinking and drugging way too much. But that being said, if they were to die tomorrow, I would still be sad about it, but I'd be like, I fucking saw that coming. That's kind of the same energy here. It's like, first we hated you because like you treat women like shit, and you treat some of our band members like shit, and you just treat people like shit, and you lean on substances. You're very passive aggressive. You start shit that doesn't need to be started. I feel like they disconnected from him a while ago. Whether or not they play nice for the spotlight, I feel like all of them kind of split apart. I know they're not in the group anymore, but it feels like we don't, I'm hearing the song, we don't talk anymore like we used to. So I do think there are some regrets, because it's almost like, you know what it's reminding me of? Not to roast him because he didn't see it coming, but if you follow Sloan on YouTube, he just recently dropped a video of all the allegations coming from Maya, the ex, and then the next day Liam died, and then it's like, oh fuck. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I was painting you as a bad guy and now you've died, and now I gotta kind of, so I almost wonder if they're having some form of survivor's guilt, because it's like, I hated you for what you've done, but you're dead now, and that's worse. You know what I mean? Like, it's reminding me of the song, I hate you, I love you, I hate that I love you, because it's like, I hate how you behaved, I hate how you treated people, I hate how you were moving, but that doesn't negate the fact that I didn't want you gone. Like, that's kind of the energy here. I'm going to pull a couple more, and then we're going to wrap this up. How did they feel? And if there's any other information we need to know regarding his death. This is, oh my God, yeah. Page of Swords in the reverse. I heard words I didn't say, or words I couldn't say. It's a country song, Rascal Flatts. Because it's like, what do I do now that you're gone? No backup plan, no second chance, and no one else to blame. All I can hear in the silence that remains are the words I couldn't say. So I do think there is some survivor's guilt about, like, could I have been the bigger person? Could I have, tried to be there for him? I think this is pretty on par with survivor's guilt from someone with addiction issues. Judgment card. Everybody sees what you're going through. I feel like a lot of people felt like this was only a matter of time, if I'm being honest. When you know someone's headed down a dark path, it's like, I kind of got to separate, because it's reminding me of the show Intervention, where it's like tough love is the only option left. I feel like that's where a lot of these people were at. You're not acting right. I don't like this energy. I don't want to be around it. But then you die, and now I feel survivor's guilt because of things that I could have said, should have said, would have. Like, maybe we should have tried a little harder to work with you. Maybe we should have tried to put on another, like, I almost wonder if Liam wanted to do more, like, maybe One Direction like things to bring that back. Like, it's giving me nostalgia. It's giving me how, like, a lot of millennial shit's coming back. So I almost wonder if he made comments like, we should bring the group back together and do like a random tour or something like that. Because it's giving me like people were fed up with him, but now it's like, you're dead. Like, this sucks. Like, that's kind of the vibe. So I don't think that they're heartless. I just think that they're kind of struggling between like mind and heart, because it's like he was just called out for doing a bunch of bad shit and now he's gone. So it's like there's a tug of war. Yeah, Seven of Swords. This reads to me like the new stages of grief. I mean, I literally just lived through this. This is like, I didn't like how you behaved, but that doesn't mean that I'm ready to let it go and ready to let you go. But I can't also pretend like I didn't have to walk on eggshells to deal with you, and I can't pretend that I couldn't trust you. So I do think there's like a battle of head and heart for a lot of these people, because it's like, we didn't like how you behaved, we didn't like what you did, but we don't want you dead. I do think this was an accident. I do think that he was he on like uppers? Like, was he on snow, if you're picking up what I'm putting down? Because it just feels like he was in a very erratic energy. I don't feel like there was anyone else involved, I would tell you. I almost feel like the higher selves of him and his girlfriend both knew that he was about to pass, and so that's probably why the girlfriend left. And then he kind of just spiraled out of control mentally. because he couldn't take it anymore. I feel like in his energy, it's like there's no way forward. So the only way is out. But again, when you're drinking and drugging, you're going to see it that way because you're in the darkness. Back deck energy. I need more. Hold on. I feel like this just feels more like survivor's guilt than anything else. It's like the least we can do is honor his name moving forward. This is unavoidable, obviously. I do think we might have a couple opportunists. I can't talk. Opportunists in the bunch. Might be Harry Styles in particular because I'm being drawn to him. I wouldn't be shocked if like a couple of them. Because this reminded me of my Matthew Perry reading where it was very clear that he wanted us to know that his friends weren't his friends. So I almost wonder if like someone like Harry might spin this into something that works for him. But I don't think they wanted this with the Justice card in the reverse. I feel like they felt they were stuck between a rock and a hard place because he was headed down. I just heard, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue. Sorry, y'all. The brain fog's bad, and this reading was just... But anyway, with the Three of Cups, this doesn't remind me of, like, Diddy parties or nothing like that. It's, like, the slow losing of self because of addiction and partying and drugs and drinking. I mean, look, that person's trapped. So I feel like they knew where he was headed. It kind of feels like they all kind of knew it was only a matter of time. And I'm very confused by this Tower card being at the end. Because the Four of Swords is like ousted. The Sun is exposure. But why the Tower card? That's the only... Before I end this, why the Tower card? I need to... Okay. 5. All the chain. Look at all these 5s. I think they're also afraid of what this will do for their career as well, which seems very fucking selfish. I think a lot of them are trying to figure out how to use this to their advantage to be in the spotlight, which again seems really fucked up. Not gonna lie. So I would keep an eye out for who's like, oh my God, this is devastating. By the way, buy my new album. Like, you know what I mean? Because I do think we might have a couple opportunists in the bunch. I feel like Harry Styles might be one of them, if I'm being honest. And then Zayn, I don't know that he'd necessarily be opportunistic. I think it's just more like the consequences of your own actions. I think he's a stand-up person in the sense that it's like, I may hate you in private, but I'm not going to put that shit out unless it's necessary. And then Louis and whatever the fuck, Niall, whatever his name is, I don't, they're barely showing up in this reading. It feels more so like Harry and Zayn. The other two are just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like this also made them realize that One Direction really is over. Duh. And so I think a lot of them are wondering where we head from here. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry that I got emotional. Actually, I'm not because I'm human. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this reading. I think we should just send healing energy to everybody involved. But I'm going to leave it here, besties. Like I said, you could book a reading with me, thekarmicdf.com. Right now, I'm not taking readings. You could join the wait list. But if you're seeing this in the future, check out my website. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. But I'm going to leave it here, besties. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next video. Stay blessed, stay free, stay peaceful. And thank you for watching.